Hello, I'm Brian. This is I KantKoan games, and we have 7 different party games based on philosophical thought experiments. The first one I'm going to explain is Schrodinger's cat. So this is a representation of the Schrodinger's cat paradox. So in this game, you'll get your cat. You can name your cat. Your cat lives in this little bunker. You'll divide into 2 teams, and you'll make some permanent life or death decisions about your cat. Those decisions are represented through these tokens, so each team will select one of the 2 tokens for that team, and the tokens will then get sealed into the bunker with the cat. You'll seal the bunker, you'll put a sticker on the bunker, and then in order that no physical evidence exists of the state of what is going on inside of the bunker, the tokens that aren't used, you put in water. These will dissolve, so you just put them in water and stir it up. Your goal is to keep your cat alive as long as possible, and one way to do that, of course, is to never open the bunker, thereby not knowing what the cat is. So we like to say that this is an infinite tabletop game. The gameplay lasts from 5 minutes to longer than the natural lifespan of the players. People can give the bunker to other people. I was talking to someone earlier, he said, well, we have a bunker, but it's not in our house, which makes it much easier to not contemplate whether or not the cat is alive or dead. Of course, some people get curious and they open up their bunker right away. And once you open it, you'll see the conditions that exist inside the bunker that determine whether or not your cat is alive or dead. This is our only game that you can't replay, so we actually include 2 complete copies of the game inside the deck. So if curiosity kills the cat and it gets the best of you, you can choose to play it again. So this is a paradigm shift for lemons. It's actually probably our most involved game. It's for 2 to 6 people. It takes an evening to play. We actually ask all of the players to sit in silent contemplation for a good period of the game, because the game is about what you think are universal truths. So at the start of the game, every player has to write down what they think is a universal truth, and these go into a center pile. They're drawn out one at a time, and all of the players who are participating in the game get to decide whether or not that is in fact a universal truth. And if someone thinks it's not, they have to provide some evidence that negates why it would be a universal truth. It's based on the Karl Popper's ideas around how science progresses forward. The interesting thing about this game is the only way to truly win this game is if you change one of your beliefs about what you previously thought was a universal truth. So that would become a lemon. You would write your new idea on the lemon paper. This is wildflower seed impregnated paper. So if you win the game by changing one of your beliefs, you get to write it down here, you get to plant it in the ground, and hopefully watch it flower the next spring into a wildflower. This is Beetle in a Box. So this is a game of imperfect information. What you're trying to do is when you draw a card, you'd pick one of the 2 categories on the card, and you'd try to communicate this to the other people playing the game using metaphor or simile. All the other players get to write down what they think it is you're trying to communicate, and everyone can see what everyone else is writing down. But at the end of each round, all of these cards get mixed back up again, and you get to score yourself based on what you see in the card. It's very much about incomplete information and trying to get other people to guess the concept that you're thinking of. It is based around Ludwig Wittgenstein's idea that we have our own realities and we can't ever know the reality of another person. For instance, I see that you have a blue sweater and it has stripes of pink, purple, light gray, kind of dark green and dark blue. And I can communicate that to you with language. And you and I can probably agree that the language that I'm using, you agree on, but I would never know your experience of those colors. So that is kind of what we're representing in this game. This is the trolley problem slap game. It's, of course, based on the ethical dilemma presented in the trolley problem, which in the original formulation, a trolley is heading down the tracks towards 5 people. They will be killed. There is a person standing at a switch. They could choose to throw the switch and divert the trolley onto another track. On the other track, there is one person who they would kill. So it's about an ethical dilemma where you can take no action and have a bad thing happen in the world, or you can take action and be responsible for killing a person. What should you do? In the trolley slap problem, we would present you with 2 cards at once. We'd go 3, 2, 1, and you would have to slap in front of one of the cards, thereby sending the trolley to that card and obliterating it from the world. So this is a quick party game about ethics and the moral decisions that we make in kind of a time crunch sort of way. Okay, this is non-violent Never Have I Ever, so very similar to the game that you played in middle school, where you and your group of friends would start out, each of you would put up 5 fingers, and then you would draw a card. And you would get a card, and for each one, you'll have to say a way in which you were somewhat violent towards that thing. So in this case, like the environment, I could say, I buy lunch in a plastic container and then I throw the container, I don't recycle. And you just do it as never have I ever. So, you know, never have I ever thrown a plastic tray in the trash, or you have. Everyone else who's playing the game with you, if they've done the thing and they feel bad about it, they have to put one of their fingers down. It's a recognition that, you know, we're not perfect beings, we make mistakes. If you've done the thing and you don't feel bad about it, your job is to try and put your finger down, but then raise it before you go to the next round, thereby getting away with doing the bad thing. If someone sees you putting your finger down and back up, though, they can force you to explain yourself. So again, a fun party game to learn more about your friends and ways that they've been potentially violent or not. Okay, Anacardi is very much about free will. We've got 2 different types of cards. We've got icon cards, which some people might think have meaning, or some of them are very abstract. And then we also have house rule cards for people who need some structure in their game. So there are actually 10 house rule cards that would give you some gameplay rules. But the fun thing about Anacardi is it is anarchy. When you actually read through the rule book, any rule that you don't like, you can change, and we include blank cards so you can write your own rules for the game. So this is very much about free will, and you can do whatever you want in this game. You can come up with fun ways to play it. It's very much for people who don't like a lot of structure in their games. Okay, finally we've got the non-violent truth or dare. Excuse me, not non-violent. We've got the banal truth or dare. So this is based around philosopher Hannah Arendt's idea about banal evil, meaning that a lot of the evil in the world is simply an accumulation of the small things that we do or people do day to day that accumulate. And so in this, it's just like truth or dare that you played, except very dark and somewhat evil. So all of the dare cards are probably things you would prefer not to do. So you can take a look at some of the dare cards. So go to the bathroom, turn on the faucet, do not turn it off until the game is over. So you're just gonna waste water. Here's another dare. Name something you want to change in the world but haven't done anything about. Continue to do nothing silently for the next 5 minutes, right? So those are some of the dares. And then the truths are gonna ask you about ways in which you've done something where you've potentially been morally compromised, and we're asking you to own up to those. So truth or dare, but dark and somewhat evil.